F1 race at Australia earlier. I'm now going to see if I can poach a few of the drivers for some post-race interviews and bring you some unique insights from that side. And I think I will start with James Owl. Just so you have something to actually look at, I'll just leave you with the lobby there as the background. Hello,
Good evening.
James.
Good evening.
So, third place.
Yeah, it was very interesting, especially with the wet conditions at the start.
Yeah,
And with
it seemed to throw off quite a few drivers, notably Joe, who was leading the race. Rather unfortunately hitting a wall, losing front wing.
yeah, I saw that. It was quite unfortunate and very unlucky, but that's racing, unfortunately.
So, how do you feel you performed, judging with the wet conditions after a dry qualifying, with the track drying out right near the end?
Basically, it was like driving on sheer ice for me, so I had to really nurse it. I nearly got caught in a collision right at the very start.
Yeah,
Just
there
managed to
seemed to be
avoid
a
it.
rather big collision at the very start. Involved a few drivers.
But yeah, so just narrowly avoided that. I kept pace with the front four. Well, front four, yeah.
Yep, you
And
were roughly 16 seconds or so, I think, behind Reshka.
but obviously the dry conditions drying in. I saw Reshka pitting for hards, so that really changed up my strategy to begin with because I was going to go for the mediums and try and nurse them. But I went up for the hards. He went in first. I nearly got the undercut, but obviously I went wide in turns 1, 2, 3 and 4, obviously with the cold tyres, and with a back marker in between us. So
Yep, that
I had,
that didn't help. I seen you come out of the pits, and I believe it was one of the Haas cars that was blocking the two of you. As you come
yeah,
out
I
the
was,
pits, Resh could just come out in front of him, and you just got stuck right in the unfortunate no man's land that is following a back marker.
yeah, but I did manage to get within a second of him, but obviously with a back marker and me running wide, all that hard work just disappeared, and I was back to 5 seconds. And then
Okie dokie.
I asked my race engineer. He told me a 6 second time penalty, which I didn't notice at the time. And obviously with my 3 second penalty also, so I really had to push for the last couple of laps.
Yeah,
I was
there was quite a few drivers who had penalties. I would presume mostly for track extensions, mainly due to the wet conditions proving difficult.
yeah, but so my penalty was due to corner cutting because I was pushing very hard. Uh, at the very end of the race, I managed to get it under a second, I'm disappointed in obviously getting second, but podium from the first race in VFL F1. Can't really complain. I was very consistent. So was Mini. So was Reshka. We were all consistent, so can't fault any drivers from that.
Okay. Now, as you obviously have more contact with the drivers than I do at this point, what I'd like you to do is the other drivers that you've just mentioned, if you could invite them in. Yeah, I've got these post-race interviews down on a separate stream because I accidentally stopped my broadcast in between, which didn't help. Yeah, I did send Chris the invite. Although I would expect that a lot of these drivers probably will be tired after that race. Something which you probably might not have seen was that Raza and the Renault. I think it was Relvin Boss. Was literally at the end. There was two cars, a photo finish and one pit the other, right on the finish line, 9th and 10th, which must have been certainly an experience for them. But there were a few drivers who opted to go for fastest laps. Here's Chris. So, the reason I've got you in here, Chris, is for a post-race interview, if you don't mind. So, how did you feel today's race went? Awful? Would you like to elaborate on that, or should I not ask? So I take it to assume then you were caught in the melee of cars that were caught up in that incident in Sector 1 on the first lap. Yeah, that can't have done you any favours. And I believe you managed to finish, was it around 11th, 12th, somewhere around there? Yeah. Now, how was your feelings about the dry qualifying going into the wet race? Unfortunately, the circumstances prevented that, as it as it was noted, a lot of drivers got a lot of penalties and things for corner cutting and such, which wouldn't surprise me if the intermediate stage of the race brought on a few unexpected errors for certain drivers. Well, thank you for your time, Chris. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And that concludes tonight's post-race interviews. So, without further ado, that concludes the broadcast. Goodbye, good night, and keep racing.